I made over $1 million just from selling on Amazon, and I didn't pack a single box nor ship a single order myself. Most days, I didn't even open my laptop until the afternoon comes. That probably sounds ridiculous if you've never done this before, and you're probably wondering, how does that work? But that's just how this business operates when you set it up properly. See, 5 years ago, I was working night shifts at construction sites as an engineer. Now I run a 7-figure Amazon business in a couple hours a day, and I've helped over 100 plus newbies build their own, some hitting $10,000, $20,000, or even $30,000 months. Like our student here, Jonathan, who works full-time in real estate, launched his first product and did exactly $22,000 in sales in his first month. A year later, $24,000 a month, consistently netting him about $282,000 in a year of revenue, spending less than an hour a week managing it while working in his full-time job. So yeah, when people say this business is dead, they're definitely not right. In this video, we're going to cover what Amazon FBA actually is, how to find products that sell, and how to avoid the mistakes that destroys most beginners before they even get started. And I'll walk you through the entire process of getting your first product listed and selling on Amazon. Grab something to take notes with. This is going to be really comprehensive. So without further ado, let's get into it. So what is Amazon FBA exactly? I'm going to explain this in the simplest way possible because I think a lot of people overcomplicate it. Imagine you could rent shelf space inside the biggest store on the planet, a store that gets over 2 billion views every single month, more than any mall, any retail chain, any marketplace, anywhere in the world. And imagine that every time someone bought your product from that shelf, the store handled everything for you. They pack it up, ship it out, dealt with customer service, processed returns, all of it. You never had to lift a finger. That's Amazon FBA. FBA stands for Fulfillment by Amazon, and that's how it works. You find a product, could be something you source from a supplier, could be something you create yourself. You get into the different approach in a minute. You send that product to one of Amazon's fulfillment centers. They have hundreds of these fulfillment centers all over the world, and from that moment on, you are done. You don't touch it again. Every time a customer goes on Amazon, finds your product and clicks buy now, Amazon's team walks through that fulfillment center, grab your product off the shelf, or a robot do that nowadays, put it in one of those signature brown boxes and ship it directly to the customer's door. And again, you don't pack anything, you don't go to the post office, don't deal with returns showing up at your house. Amazon handles it all. Your only job is to find products people want to buy and keep inventory in stock. That's it. Now, obviously, Amazon doesn't do this for free. They take a cut. Fulfillment fees, storage fees, referral fees, and we break down all the costs later so you know exactly what to expect. But in exchange for those fees, you get something incredibly valuable. Access to Amazon's customers, Amazon's trust, and Amazon's entire logistics infrastructure. Think about what it would cost to build that yourself. Warehouses, shipping contracts, customer service teams, return processing. We're talking millions of dollars and years of work. Or you can just pay Amazon a percentage and use theirs. That trade-off is the whole point. It's what makes this business model so accessible for normal people. Now, there's another option you'll hear about called FBM, or Fulfillment by Merchant. That's where you list products on Amazon but handle all the shipping yourself. Some people do this, and there are specific situations where it makes sense, but most people just avoid it, at least in the beginning. Because with FBM, every time you get an order, you're the one packing it up and driving to the post office. Your living room becomes a warehouse, your evening becomes shipping sessions, and you're basically just trading one job for another. The whole reason I got into this was freedom, not to spend my nights wrapping boxes, and FBA allows you to do this. One of our students, Lina, works a full-time 9 to 5 as a brand manager in Indonesia. She already lost $15,000 with another program and was ready to give up completely. I told her, look, give yourself one more chance. Follow the process, trust the system. She put in the work. Watch the training videos every single day, 1 to 2 hours, no excuses. Launched her product in December. And guess what? For her first month, she did $21,000 in revenue. Her competitors had hundreds of reviews. She had 15. It didn't matter. Her products was flying off the shelf so fast, she almost ran out of stock. She went from ready to quit to restocking because demand was too high. Now, before you go any further, you need to understand there are 3 completely different ways to sell on Amazon, and choosing the wrong one as a beginner is probably the single fastest way to lose money and quit before you ever had a real chance. So let me break down all 3 approaches and explain who each one is for and tell you exactly what I recommend if you're just starting out. The first approach is arbitrage. This is the ground floor, the lowest barrier to entry. Here's how it works. You go to retail stores or browse websites looking for stuff on sale. You're talking about clearance sections, discount racks, liquidation deals, anywhere you can find products significantly marked down. Then you check if those products are selling for more on Amazon. If you find a toy that's $10 at a clearance sale and it's going for $28 on Amazon, you buy as many as you can. Send them to Amazon's warehouse and pocket the difference. A very simple concept. And it works. People definitely make money doing this. But here's the limitation. You're capped by whatever's available. Most stores only let you buy 5 to 10 of any item. So if you find a great deal, buy your 10 units, make maybe $80 to $100 profit, and then you need to find the next deal. And the next one. And the next one. You're basically a professional bargain hunter. Always searching, always hustling. It's fine if you want to make a few $100s on the side. It's a good way to learn how Amazon works, but you can't really build a scalable business around it because your supply is inconsistent and limited. I don't recommend this as your main strategy, but if you're super tight on cash and just want to get your feet wet, it's a decent starting point. The second approach is wholesale. The concept is straightforward. You find products that are already selling well on Amazon. They could be brand name products with existing demand, and then you buy them in bulk directly from distributors or wholesalers at a lower price. Let's say there's a kitchen gadget selling consistently on Amazon for $35. You find a wholesaler who sells it for $14 each if you buy 100 units. Send them to Amazon, list them on the existing product page. And every time one sells at $35, you make the difference minus Amazon's fee, which we'll calculate later. The beautiful thing about wholesale is that the demand already exists. You're not guessing whether people want this product. You're not trying to convince anyone to buy something new. People are already buying it every single day. You're just becoming another supplier feeding the existing demand. And you can get started with relatively low capital. I'm talking about $1,000 to $2,000 if you're being smart about it. The downside, you're not the only one who can sell that product. Other sellers are on the same listing as well. So there's competition and prices can fluctuate. Wholesale can work, but there's a ceiling. You're always competing on someone else's listing, fighting for the buy box, and your margins are at the mercy of other sellers. You don't own anything, you're just reselling. The third approach is private label. This is how I've built my business. And honestly, it's what I recommend for anyone who's serious about building something real. Private label is where you create your own brand from scratch. You design a product, or more realistically, you take an existing product and make it slightly better, slightly different. You find a manufacturer, usually in China, to produce it, ship it to Amazon, create your own listing with professional photos, solid copy, and you build an actual brand around it. Long-term, private label is incredibly profitable. When it works, you own the listing. Nobody else is competing on your specific product. Higher margins, and you're building a real brand. Something you could potentially sell one day for a big payday. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend private label is easy. It's not. It requires more capital upfront. We're talking $5,000 to $10,000 minimum, sometimes even more. And think about everything that goes into it. Ordering samples from different manufacturers to find the right one, minimum order quantities, often 500, 1,000 units before they even work with you, professional photography, packaging design, Amazon's PPC ads just to get some initial eyeballs on your listing, trademark registration if you want real brand protection, and you need enough cash sitting in reserve to survive the months before you actually break even. On top of all that, the learning curve is real. You're doing product research, negotiating with suppliers overseas, quality control, listing optimization, managing ads campaign, forecasting inventory, building a brand. It's a lot. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and if you get it wrong, if you pick a wrong product nobody actually wants, or your manufacturer sends you garbage, or your listing just doesn't convert, you have lost thousands of dollars. Just like that. I've seen it happen. Watch people burn through their savings on a product that sits in Amazon's warehouse, collecting dust. They get discouraged. They quit and they walk away convinced that Amazon doesn't work. But it does work. They just didn't have the right system, the right process, and the right guidance. Private label with the right research methodology, the right way to validate before you spend money, and someone actually showing you what to do step by step. That's how real Amazon businesses get built. Alright, let's talk about actually finding products. Most people do this completely wrong. They browse Amazon, see something that looks cool, get excited, find a supplier, order 300 units without really validating anything. 2 months later, they're sitting on boxes that won't move. Or they can't even list it because of a product restriction they didn't check. Or Amazon's already selling it and crushing everyone on price. I've seen this happen dozens of times, and it's completely avoidable. Here's what I do instead. So usually, I love to start finding new products from the new release page. This page here gives you all the juiciest or the newest release that has happened so far on Amazon.com. So how does Amazon classify new release? Listings or products that has been released just in the past 60 days or less. So if they are getting ranked number 1 in the new release category for BSR, that means that they are selling well and they are new sellers and they are able to capture the market share. So it also signals a higher probability that you can win. So like for example, a new release in patio, lawn and garden, like this 6-pack plant frost protection cover. I love products like this because it's products that I I would never have thought about, and yet this new guy who just launched less than 60 days ago is winning it, crushing it on Amazon, selling 1,000 units in the past 30 days. Look at that. So this is one great item that I would love to investigate further. So this is how I start: a 6-pack plant frost protection cover. So probably that's one of the main keyword. Let's take a look. Maybe not 6-pack, but just a generic plant frost protection cover. So as I head over to this page here, I can see a lot of different items that's on sale. That's exactly this plant frost cover, and I just love looking at the pages. So these are a few things I look out for. Number one, the selling price should at least be 25 USD and above. If it's anything lower, it's probably not worth it because there's just not much margin left. You don't want to be fighting with less than 30% profit margin. So $25 and above is a really, really great Goldilocks zone right there. So I do see one competitor here that's $28, but it's not selling the best. That's already a red flag for me. One of the competitors selling at $40. Probably this is the extra large version. That's why he can pull off $40. Okay, so maybe my niche here should go to the extra large plant frost plant cover, 95 by 95 inch. Probably this is my niche if I want to sell in this market here. Alright, just from this pricing alone, I can already eliminate the smaller version. The second item I look at is, of course, the number of units sold in this market. I want to make sure that there are enough revenue spread across all the different competitors here. So I have one competitor here, although he's advertising, he sold 1,000 units in the past month. Another guy 700, and let's see, this is another guy 1,000 unit as well, 400, 100, and then going downwards accordingly to the lower echelon of sales. So according to what we see here, I believe we still have opportunity for us to enter. We just need to do more research in how well each of these competitor ranks on Amazon. That is something that we need to go through and ascertain, especially on their keyword strength. So probably this is my first product idea right now. So now you understand how we validate products. But the real question is, how do you find winning private label products in the first place? Because this is where most people get it completely wrong. They open Amazon, scroll endlessly, and hope they feel a good product. What we do instead is reverse engineer demand using data before we even think about sourcing or branding. This exact approach is what we've used and what our students use to find products with 30 to 60% profit margin, scalable demand, and real brand potential. Most people start with the product. They ask, what's trending? What looks cool? What do I like? That's backwards. In private label, you don't create demand, you intercept it. So instead of starting with products, we start with markets. Markets that already have proven buying behavior, fragmented competition, and clear weaknesses we can exploit. That's the foundation of our private label research process. Step 1. Start with demand signals, not products. So where do we actually find these products? Here's what I do. I want to see proof that people are buying. I want 5, 6, or even 7 different sellers all making sales in the same space. Revenue spreads around. Because if the money is going to a bunch of different sellers, there's room for you. If one brand owns the whole first page with thousands of reviews, move on. That's not your opportunity. Also, check if Amazon is in there selling. You see, ships from and sold by Amazon on the top listing. Close the tab. You're not beating Amazon at their own game. This is where most product idea die. Right here, before you spend $1. And that's the point. Just kill the bad ones early. Step 2. Filter out the traps. High sales doesn't mean it's a good opportunity for you. Some markets look great on the surface, strong demand, solid prices. Then you dig a little deeper and realize it's completely locked down. One brand owns the first page, thousands of reviews, been there for years, their listing is dialed in, their ads are everywhere. You're not breaking through that, not without burning through your whole budget trying. So before I even think about sourcing, I'm filtering these out. Is Amazon selling here? Gone. Are a few brands running the show? Gone also. Is this a market where the only way to win is outspending everyone on ads? Gone. I'm not trying to fight giants. I'm looking for markets where the competition is average, weak even, beatable, sellers with okay listings, decent reviews, nothing special. Those are the market where a better product actually wins. Step 3. The market dominator check, and that is our edge. So what is a market dominator? I'm going to bring you through very quickly how do we do up this competition check. This answers exactly if you should even enter this market or not, just by looking at the keyword strength of your few competitors. So first up, for a plant frost protection cover, make sure I search this, I click enter, and I do need helium-10 here. This is where we start using helium-10, a very powerful product research tool, to be able to find out exactly what is the data for this particular market market right here. So as I begin to click on load more data will come out for this entire plant frost protection covers niche. My goal for this part here is to find out exactly who are the top 10 competition. They are the best selling in terms of revenue for this particular product, and I want to reverse engineer exactly how do they get their sales and what makes them so powerful. So let's get going into the ASIN revenue. I will click it from the highest to the lowest, and I got to look at it from my competition here to make sure that they are exactly this plant cover freeze protection. Okay, so from this guy I can see he's making $36,000 in the past 30 days. Nothing to scoff about. Amazing kind of results here. And this is more like a blanket plant cover, so they are not really exactly for the trees. So I'm going to omit this guy out. Okay, so my role is to click on everything, and I will just uncheck those, or should I say I want to check those that I want to leave it in my list. My role is to get top 10. So I'm going to very quickly go through exactly all that is the plant covers, and because these are all the same ASINs, I'm just going to skip them. Then this is the next one, same ASINs once more, and now we go by this. Okay, these are all the horizontal blanket. I just want the trees only. These are my top 10 tree cover competitors today, and I already arranged it based on revenue. Very, very important. We only want to study those sellers who are crushing it on Amazon today. Alright, this is the reason why we do this. Okay, let me just do quickly on the top 10 with the plants. Alright, and I believe this should be enough. Okay, cool. So now that I have already isolated 10 competitors that's doing well, I delete the rest. I remove the list, which is the noise. Okay, so there we go. These are top 10 in terms of revenue, from the highest all the way down to the lowest in descending order, basically. Okay, so now that we have done this step, all we need to do is just check on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and click on this very neat tool called Cerebro. Now, what is Cerebro? Cerebro is part of Helium 10's suite of tools, and you can use Cerebro to reverse engineer what keywords, especially top performing keywords, that these 10 competitors is ranked for on Amazon. And because of this, you are able to reverse engineer what keywords that you should target as well. And also, right now in this step, we want to find out if they are even good in ranking for those keywords. So this is Cerebro right here. Okay, and just by applying a simple filter like this for all my top 10 competitors, I can already find out that there are 400 plus keywords that you should absolutely target for this market. If you do not target these 400 keywords, you're not going to get a lot of sales anyway. Okay, so now that I have this set of 400 keywords, I'm going to use export data to Excel sheet so that I can filter these keywords to find out exactly if I should enter this market or not. Remember, the market dominator is just for you to access whether if this market is friendly enough for a new seller like yourself to enter. Alright, let's talk about the practical stuff. Setting up your seller account and actually getting products to Amazon. Let's set up your seller account now. Go to Google, type sell on Amazon. Click the official link for your country. Amazon.com for the US, Amazon.co.uk for UK, wherever you're located. You'll see two plan options, individual and professional. Individual is technically free, no monthly fees, but you pay 99 cents per item sold. Plus, you're limited on features. You cannot run ads, you cannot access certain reports, and you can't use some tools. Professional plan is about $39.99 a month in the US or £30 a month in the UK. And also there's no per item fee, and you get full access to everything. If you're trying to build a proper business, go professional. The monthly fee is nothing compared to what you make, and it removes that per sale fee, which adds up fast when you're doing any real volume. During sign up, Amazon will verify your identity. You need to provide these 4 items: your government issued ID, it could be your passport or driver's license, a proof of address, utility bill or bank statement, your phone number, and a bank account and credit card. At some point, they'll do a video verification call. Sounds intimidating, but it's quick, like 10 minutes. They're basically just confirming if you're a real person and your document matches what you have submitted. Once you're verified, usually it takes around 24 to 72 hours, your seller account is live and you can start selling. Once your product is manufactured and ready to go, you need to add it to Seller Central. This is different from wholesale. You're not jumping on someone else's listing. You're creating your own. Go to Catalog, add a product. But instead of searching for an existing ASIN, you'll select, I'm adding a product not sold on Amazon. First, Pick your category. This matters more than people think. It affects your fees, how Amazon indexes your keywords. Pick the wrong one and your product might get flagged or restricted later. Next, enter your product info. Your brand name, make sure it matches your packaging exactly. Your product title, attributes like size, color, material, your bullet points and description. Next, you'll need a UPC. This is your product identifier. Private label, you buy this through GS1. Don't use some random barcode reseller. Amazon's cracking down on that and it will cause problems later. Once you submit everything, Amazon generates your ASIN. Now, this ASIN belongs to you. Nobody else can sell on it without your permission. Set the condition to new. Choose fulfilled by Amazon and set your launch price. You want it competitive enough to get those first sales rolling, profitable enough that you're actually learning something from each sale, and flexible enough to adjust as you figure out what the market wants. One more thing on categories. Unlike wholesale, you usually don't need invoices to get ungated. You own the brand. You're not reselling someone else's stuff. But some categories are still restricted. Supplements, topicals, food, medical devices, anything for kids. If you're going to one of these, Amazon's going to ask for documentation, compliance certificates, lab test reports, safety certifications, sometimes photo of your packaging and product. Don't panic. This is normal. It's about the category, not your brand specifically. They just want to make sure that you're not selling something that's going to hurt someone. Most private label sellers stick to the easy categories: home, kitchen, tools, sports, or even pets. Those are straightforward. You list it, you're good to go. Now you tell Amazon what you're sending. Go to inventory, find the product, click send/replenish inventory. You create a shipping plan. Enter how many units you're sending. Amazon will tell you which warehouse to ship to. You don't get to choose. They assign it based on your inventory distribution needs. Enter your box dimension and weight. Amazon uses this to calculate fees and plan for receiving your shipment. You need to print two types of labels. First is the FNSKU label. These are Amazon's product barcodes that identify the units as yours. You print this on sticker sheets and apply one to each individual unit, covering up any existing barcode on the product packaging. Why does this matter? Because if you don't use Amazon's barcode, your inventory might get mixed up with other sellers' inventory. If their units have quality issues and customers complain, you get blamed even though you sent in good products. Using your own FNSKU prevents that. Second, it is a box label. This goes on the outside of your shipping boxes. They tell Amazon what's inside and where it's going. Pack your products in appropriate boxes. Not too big, you pay for wasted space, and also not too small, things can get damaged. Amazon has guidelines on box sizes and weights. Apply your box label clearly on the outside, then ship it. Amazon has partnered rates with carriers like UPS that you can use directly through Seller Central. Just schedule a pickup, UPS comes to your door, takes the boxes and delivers them to Amazon's warehouse. Within a few days, your inventory arrives. Amazon checks it in, usually within 24 to 48 hours. And then your products are live on the listing. From that moment on, every sale gets fulfilled automatically. Customer orders, Amazon ships, you get paid. You just monitor your dashboard and keep inventory stocked. If I was starting completely from scratch today, no account, no experience, no products, nothing, here's exactly what I'll do week by week. This is the same roadmap I give to my students. It's designed to get you up and running methodically without rushing past important steps or making expensive mistakes. Week number 1, the foundation. Set up your professional seller account. Go through the whole verification process. It takes a few days usually. While you're waiting for approval, learn. And I don't mean scroll through a few videos while you're half paying attention. Actually learn how this platform works. Understand what BSR really means and what it doesn't. A lot of people misread this and it costs them. Learn how to look at a listing from a buyer's perspective. What makes someone click? What makes them bounce? Start recognizing the difference between strong brands, weak private label sellers, and listings where Amazon themselves is selling. Get clear on how fees actually works. FBA fees, referral fees, shipping costs, all of it eats into the margin, and most beginners are shocked when they see the real numbers. Spend time with Amazon's revenue calculator. Punch in different products, play with the numbers. Do it until you can estimate profitability in your head without needing the tool. Watch trainings. Read Seller Central's documentation. If something doesn't click the first time, go back and replay it. Do not buy anything yet. Seriously, this week is about building your mental framework, not rushing to make money. Week 2, market discovery. Now you start looking. But pay attention to how I phrase this. You're not looking for products. Not yet. You're looking for markets. Big difference here. A product is one item. A market is a whole space where people are already spending money. Your goal this week is to find categories where there's a real consistent demand. Listings moving units every single day. Multiple sellers doing well, not just one brand dominating everything. And critically, markets where the competition is average, beatable. You'll start scanning Amazon, browsing different categories, searching keywords that buyers actually use, paying attention to patterns patterns in pricing, reviews, how brands are positioning themselves. By the end of this week, you should have a short list of product ideas, maybe 10, 15 or 20 possibilities, clear notes on why each market might be worth pursuing, and zero emotional attachment to any of them. Week 3, product research and filtering. Now, the real work begins. Take your list of potential markets and start running them through the filters. Is the demand actually consistent, or is it a spike? What does the competition look like? One brand dominating, or is the revenue spread around? Is Amazon in there selling? Are there clear weaknesses that you can exploit? What kind of margins are we looking at? Is there room to actually make money after fees, after ads, after everything? Most of your ideas will fail these filters, and that's normal and expected. If you go through 50 or 100 product ideas and only a handful survive, you are doing it right. That's the process working. By the end of this week, you want to narrow everything down to your top 3 candidates. Product with clear demand, no Amazon or brand monopoly, room to differentiate, margins that actually make sense. Do not rush this step. Week 4, validation and pre-sourcing. Now, you pressure test your top 3. This is where you stop looking at surface level data and actually dig in. Check the price history. Have prices been stable the last few months? Or are they bouncing around crazy? Volatile pricing is a red flag. It usually means sellers are fighting each other and margins are getting squeezed. Read the reviews. And I mean really read them. What do customers love? What keeps coming up as a must-have? What do they hate? What are the common complaints across multiple listings? This is where differentiation is born. Before you even talk to a manufacturer, you already know what to improve, what you bundle, what you keep exactly the same because customers expect it. Now, you start reaching out to suppliers, contact suppliers, sourcing platforms, get the quotes based on your version of the product, the improved version. Ask about MOQs or minimum order quantities, the pricing tiers, what customization is actually possible. From your top 3, pick one, the strongest overall, the one with the best combination of demand, margins, and room to win. Order samples and test the quality yourself. Finalize your landed costs, lock in your numbers, and make sure the math still works before you commit to anything bigger. Week 5, launch. And now we launch. Finalize everything with your supplier, product specs, packaging, labeling. Make sure it's all locked in and matches what you agreed on. Create your Amazon listing and actually put effort into this. Good photos, clear copy. Don't just slap something together because you're excited to go live. Get your FNSKU labels sorted. Prep your shipment. You know the drill by now. Set your launch price. Not the forever price, just your launch price. Competitive enough to get moving, profitable enough to learn something, and flexible enough to adjust when you see what actually happens. And keep your first order small. I know you want to go bigger. Don't. This is just a test. Data over ego. Once your inventory hits Amazon and checks in, you are live. Now you watch. Every day, are units moving? Is the listing converting? Are competitors reacting? Is any of this matching what you thought would happen? After your test inventory sells through, look at the numbers. Did it work the way you expected? Great. Scale up. Does something feel off? Figure out why first. Don't just reorder and hope it fixes itself. This is how you build a real private label business. Alright. Listen carefully here. The real money is not in your first product, not even close. Your first product might net you $300 a month, $600 or even $1,000 a month if you did everything right. That's solid, encouraging, but it's not life-changing, let's be honest. And it's not supposed to be. The real money starts with what you do next. Your first private label product has one job. Proof that you can do this. Proof you can identify demand, launch correctly, sell profitably. That's it. Once you have proof, you reinvest. Take that $500, $1,000 in profit and put it into a second product. Same niche or something complementary under the same brand. Now you're not relying on one SKU. Product 1 does $500 a month. Product 2 does $400. Now you're at $900 a month. That's momentum. You reinvest again. Add a third product. Then a fourth. 6 months in, you're not thinking in terms of one product anymore. You got a small catalog, shared branding, creatives you can reuse, existing customer trust. 5 products doing a combine of $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Some months higher, some months lower. But average out is real, predictable income. That's exactly what our student Sonek did. First product wasn't a home run, but he stuck with the process. Added a second, then a third. 11 months in, 3 products and he's crossed over $1 million in sales on Amazon, netting him a solid 5,000 profits per month. 1 in the UK, 2 in the US market. He didn't get there by swinging for the fences on day 1. He got there by compounding. So, where do we go from here? If you watch this far, you already know more than 90% of people who say they want to start Amazon FBA. You understand the business model, you know why private label makes sense for beginners. You have 4 filters. You understand how to find suppliers, validate products, ship to Amazon, and to avoid the common mistakes. Some of you are going to take everything from this video, go execute, and go figure out the rest along the way. And honestly, that can actually work. I did it that way myself in the beginning, but I'll be straight with you. It took me nearly 2 years of trial and error to build a system that worked consistently. A lot of wasted money on products that didn't pan out. A lot of lessons I had to learn the expensive way. If you want to collapse that time frame, if you want someone looking at your specific products, your specific suppliers, your numbers, and telling you exactly what to do at each step, that's what the FBA Bros is for. Here's how it works. We do 2 live coaching calls every week. You bring your products, your questions, your roadblocks, whatever you're working through, and we tackle it together in real time. You're not figuring stuff out alone. You're getting direct feedback on your actual situation. You get 5 one-on-one calls with me or my team. We map out your strategy, review your progress, troubleshoot whatever's not working, and make sure you stay on track. You also get direct chat access to me and my team. So, when you're staring at a product at 11 PM, wondering if it's worth ordering, you ask and you get an answer. And you get everything I've built over 5 years doing this. My 23-point product research system, the scripts I use for supplier outreach, listing optimization frameworks, PPC strategies when you're ready for it, all of it. I've been invited by Amazon themselves to train new sellers at their headquarters. I've spoken at E-commerce Expo Asia, the Business Show Asia. I've been on the Serious Sellers podcast with Helium 10, collaborated with Amazon Global and the Singapore Institute of Retail Studies. But honestly, the credentials aren't really the point. The point is, when you join, you're not alone anymore. You have someone who's done this, who've helped over 100 people who do this as well, looking at your business and guiding you through at it. Now, I do keep this small intentionally. I only take on a limited number of students at a time because I actually want to work with each person. When spots filled up, they are full until the next cohort. There's a link below this video. Click it, fill up the application, tell me where you're starting from and what you're trying to build. If it looks like a good fit, we'll get on a call and map out your next steps. If it's not the right time, and that's completely fine, I'll still point you towards whatever resources makes the most sense for where you are right now. But here's what I know for certain. A year from now, you're going to be somewhere. Either you have an Amazon business generating income while you sleep, giving you options you don't have right now, or you'll still be at where you're at today, watching videos, thinking about starting. The only difference is whether you actually do something. Links below. I'll see you on the inside.